dogwood tree, and we played tackle tag there. We didn't have nothing else to do at recess. The girls were on one side of the thing, and the boys were on the other side. You couldn't go by the little girl.
So the campus was divided into two courts?
Oh yeah, for a long time.
Boys side and girls side?
When I got there, I think it was okay.
Go by the little girls.
I did go by. That was, so we played tackle tag right there on this side.
I forgot to mention, I think one of the most fun things we had about our school years was we had rally day.
Oh yeah.
Every year we had rally day, and I've had all the schools in the parish get together and compete. So all for about what, a month or two, they let us out like instead of at 2 o'clock classes would end, you could go practice whatever you're going to participate in, whether it was softball, volleyball, tennis.
Right.
That's right. Oh, it stopped when I got over. But anyway, and they had boys and girls, separate teams that you compete. That was one of our, and it's just like with your clubs. You meet people from everywhere, and I still meet people from Raleigh, FHA, or we went to conventions that you just love to see them again, and you know, just learn to get along with people. That's life, the rest of your life to do that.
Something else that they stopped when I got in high school. Before that, they had two teams, the X-ray and the Atkinson. I couldn't wait to get into it. And when I got in high school, they dropped it off. You had two sides of school, you know, and they participate in plays or parliamentary procedure, stuff like that.
And everybody in the school was either a Zephyr or an Acton team.
It was
So
like
when
a
you
Democrat
came to
or
school,
a Republican.
Yeah, you were voted into it when you got
Yep.
to, when you were going to be a freshman, you knew.
How did you determine who went in
I
what
don't
group?
know, I didn't
I
stop.
remember when I got there. they
Mrs.
stopped.
Totten told us this morning that they would draw. Wasn't it? Either Ms. Totten or Mr. Brunet. One that said they would draw from a box, and that's how you would determine. The only way they let you go to a certain group was if your older brother or sister was a Zephyr, then you were a
Yeah,
Zephyr.
took an option, coach's
Right.
option.
Right.
And that was really competitive.
And they said very competitive. They said Mrs. Totten was saying it was just as competitive within the school as when we play St. Ed's in
That's
football. When the Zephyrs and Actons went against each
You
other.
always look up to the older ones, and I had a sister and brother, and I remember that well.
But you see, we didn't have a football team then. You know, that was before football and everything else came up. You know. So
And it lasted a little time.
yeah, I remember Coach Ernie and them. They had it when they were there.
Well, I think when Mervyn and them were there, they had it too, 55. Or it ended about then. They had it at the beginning, I guess when they got to high school.
Yeah, you see, with Mervyn and 55, I was a sophomore.
But I had
It must have
before.
stopped
Yeah.
in 53.
Where did they come up with the names, the Zephyrs and all that?
Maybe you
Don't
should
tell
ask
it.
Miss Dawson.
They didn't know. Ms. Totten didn't know.
I have to ask my sister.
Those
but
are original names, huh?
She graduated in 48, which was this last class about there. I have that. They had the first year book, by the way. I wish I'd have had it with me. She has it.
I have a copy here.
It was all handwritten
Yeah, sure is.
by a classmate of
Are
hers.
you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it right here.
She has it at her house. I have all the yearbooks of
It was all handwritten, see?
Yeah.
This.
Look, it looks like it's in a folder.
And Miss Maddie Miller spoke this morning. Miss Maddie Miller was the one who came up with the name, Jambalaya. They had a contest and she submitted the winning name.
Yeah, she was in that class.
And it has some, as you can tell, it's directly from a typewriter. It's not published through a company. So they did it all themselves, all the printing.
Yeah.
What did she
And she
receive
did all
for
the
that?
ads. See,
Yeah.
Cool.
and handwriting.
And this is Mr. Jeans. She showed us that this morning. It was Mr. Jeans during, I guess, his
Well, he
senior
was
year.
a big old athlete, huh?
He was on football scholarship to Louisiana College.
Right.
Mrs. Totten told us if it wouldn't have been that he would have been a football player, he'd have probably never gone to college. He went on a football scholarship.
Yeah.
You can pass it around if you want.
My husband went to 2 colleges too. He had a football scholarship to Southeastern and to McNeese. And to this day, he said he regretted that he didn't like classes because his regret is that he didn't get to play long enough in college. He wanted to play the football, but he didn't want to pay the price of the classroom.
And he could have played very. He was good enough. Just like Ronnie Clem. Him and Ronnie Clem probably the two best athletes that come out of Basile. They wanted to go back and forth. They heck with everything else. Whatever. Very good.
And
folks.
that's the oddest thing. I looked through our yearbooks and we had never noticed that. My husband's class, the last year, I looked at the FFA organization, and he wasn't in it. He's the only one that's a farmer. Can't figure out what happened. He's the only one. Yeah.
semifinals. That was your senior year, Shirley?
That was 57.
57.
My senior.
His senior year. Miss Colleen and them were seniors. I was very fortunate to play as a freshman.
Take Shirley was good. She played as a freshman.
Yeah,
And what is that?
I think in those years, well, as you get older, you get a little slower. I was probably really fast, so they could use it. But that's about it. I have some pictures in here. I don't think there's too many people y'all know in here. I'm trying to think of some of y'all.
Did y'all ever ride the bus? Did you have buses back then? Y'all rode the bus to come to school?
Yeah. I did, and I lived in town, but that's what your daddy said was so true. A lot of my friends that I've liked to play sports, there's no way. Parents didn't have cars to go back and forth and get you to school. I mean, you went to school and that was important, but there was no way they were going to stop working in the fields and come get you after practice.
We didn't start
They
football.
couldn't afford it in the first place.
We didn't start football till we were through with the crop. We started about the 20th or the 25th. when we
School
got
started
here.
later.
That was new, and school wouldn't start till in September. And usually I wouldn't get through picking my cotton until the 10th of September or something like that. I never came to school. I started playing football. I'd come to football practice, but we had football practice at 7 o'clock at night till 10:30. We could not.
Early in the morning.
We just done that way if it rained or something. If it happened to rain, we could have football in the morning. But if it didn't rain, maybe when Davis and them when you see us, we still had cotton, you see, when I graduated, and we had to pick cotton.
Cotton was the big crop back during those days?
Cotton and rice, but cotton was, most everybody had a sharecropping.
Right.
And all the kids, that's where they make their money at.
I know because my dad was over at the school.
When we were small, all the kids, there was no other place they could make money. But then it went out about in 56 or 57, cotton started going out.
Yeah, there's no more cotton fields even in the past.
But we were talking also about
But one of the janitors report to the office. Janitor report to the office.
the demerit system. Do you remember that? We had a demerit system, and you couldn't speak French. If you got caught talking French on the school ground, it would cost you 5 demerits. So I made a bunch of F's in school because a lot of our teachers, we thought there was something wrong with us because we could talk 2 languages. I thought that was a mortal sin for a long, long time because we wasn't supposed to talk French in school. And when we see somebody, comment ça va? You know, qui tu fais? And they hear us, and that was 5 demerits. And you got 25, that was the F on your conduct. And we had a lot of trouble with that because we thought there was something wrong with us because we would speak French. And now I thank God that I could speak French because I got a bunch of jobs because I could speak French after that. But we had a bunch of teachers from out of state and stuff, off of the northern part of the parish, from Turkey Creek, Miss Howell, Miss Anderson, all that. None of them could speak a word of French. So sometimes we talk like that, and they thought we were talking French, and they'd give us a demerit.
So do you think that's why they wouldn't let you speak French, because they couldn't understand you when you were speaking,
No,
or?
I don't think it was looked up to in this.
Well, we had so much trouble with, when we first came.
They thought we weren't educated because
It was
they
an
spoke
ignorant
French.
sign of
Yeah.
ignorance, yeah.
Mhm.
I spoke English when I went to school as much as my family spoke French, and I thank God today. I have a first cousin in the Virginia school system, and then he went on into the service, and he's always in Europe, and he said, I thank God every day my parents taught me
Now it's a
French.
sign of culture. if you
Well,
can speak
sure,
it.
he said, I don't care what country I'm in, and now he does speak German and Spanish, besides the French and English, yeah. And he goes to Europe every year 2 or 3 times, and they have friends from all over that come to the United States, and he said it's just a wonderful feeling.
See, that's another one. He was a principal over there, and he come out and he went back into service.
He was a
Right,
captain,
wonderful.
he got out of the school system, went back as I guess for all the benefits it had. It's so hard working in the school system.
He was a heck of a baseball player. We had baseball.
And you know, whatever you want in life, you just work a little bit. I find that sometimes kids that don't have that want some of it's too easy. I noticed my husband, his parents were both college graduates, and he didn't look toward the school that greatly. And I find that sometimes you need to just look around and thank God for what you have and just keep driving to.
Are y'all amazed at the changes that have occurred in what 30 years since you've been out?
Yeah,
40
I
years?
am. I think that I think this is more confusing to me is, you know, they keep saying it's the school system that the kids are not as maybe well written or spelling skills, blah blah blah. I think it's the lack of reading. I think it's the teaching. I don't think it's the teachers. I think it's you have to put it in yourself. And I think the ones of
Our
us
teachers,
that
we didn't have a teacher that had a master's degree when we first started. Most of them had 1 or 2 years of college. You know, they just took us up, and most of us, our parents, my dad and mama went to the 4th and 5th grade, and they wouldn't. We didn't know what that was to go home and say, "Help me," you know. There was no way we could ask our parents to help us.
But they were my parents were so determined that we would all get an education. I can remember, I always made the honor roll. In the 4th grade, was the first year you had geography, and I went home with an F. I mean, the first 6 weeks, I just never understood. It's like it bypassed me anyway. And my brother was, I guess, about 8th, 9th grade. He had made an F, but the teacher had put my F in red, and his was in blue. You think I could make mom and dad understand that he had an F too? I'm going to
That's right, you did.
I got suspicious, but he was determined that we would all have an education because they didn't have one. Sometimes the things you don't have that you want to make sure.
That's funny. That's cute.
I was looking at the school ground when I walked up. I can remember when we were kids. You see that?
Oh, we had a
There was an
lunch.
old wooden building right there. The old school was there. The other school hadn't been built yet. But whenever they had a rain, over an inch, you couldn't wear your shoes outside. You took your shoes off. Everybody went barefoot. It was just one mud puddle. You know, there was no grass or nothing. They didn't have to cut the grass, did they? Because we play marbles, or the girls would play hopscotch, and then we'd play.
I think one of the big changes too is we had like, we called it the little store.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was a great thing we had. Our school faced this way, and right here was a little street, and we had a store. And it's estimated that it has a home there now. But every day she would cook hamburgers, hot dogs, and we could go in there at recess or lunchtime, eat hamburgers, hot dogs, get Coke, potatoes, whatever you wanted. But we behaved, you know, they'd let us, we'd just go. And that's another thing that's changed, this federal government. They've knocked out, you can't have concessions.
You can't have that until after lunch has
Yeah,
been served.
yeah. So there's a lot of things that have changed. We had a lot more privileges than y'all did.
I think so too.
We were allowed, we were trusted. The teachers, you know, they didn't think anything of letting us go to town to get something.
Except the boys and girls put me on the same side of the building.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Well,
Go
that
all
was
the
before my
time.
time, I guess. I don't remember that, because we were, there was a lot of changes.
Well, you
had
see,
a lot
we
more
had a lot of
freedom.
people like y'all before us, even, you know, they had a lot of couples that, well, they married now. Most of these, and they hang around together, they start dating in the 4th grade, and they stayed, and they married.
So they were courting on campus.
You know, they just wouldn't leave each other go outside the ground. But there was no holding hands and stuff like you see on the campus grounds today. I'm not saying there was anything bad, but you'd always see it. Like Olin and Betty, they were the year before y'all?
They were with me. Davis is the year.
They married, Jim and Barbara, that's my age, and
Jimmy and Rodney.
Jim and Rodney.
This fellow that drives the street with us, they married class.
There was several of them.
You seeing people you know, honey?
You're recognizing parents?
Yeah, well, down in the lower class. And the oddest thing I find about school is I can't remember hardly the ones after me. More than 2 or 3 years, but I remember the ones ahead of me.
Those are the people probably you looked up to. And
That's right. So when you think about yourself, think of the example you set. Maybe it could be for somebody else. I had a girl that told me that 3 or 4 years after high school. She said, "Oh, I always wanted to be like you." You know, that kind of surprises you because you think most of us don't have high self-esteem. Growing up, you think, "Oh, I want to be like so and so, or they're so lucky and so lucky." But with hard work, you can be happy with what you do yourself.
Anybody have a question or like to make a comment? I think we all enjoyed it. Let's give them a nice round of applause.